Guys, let's start. So in the last class we were discussing about antipsychotics. Specifically, I told you something about blockage of reuptakes, antipsychotics, not antidepressants. So in that I told you that most antidepressants will work by blocking reuptake. So just to uh, revise what reuptake is, just to refresh your memory, if I take, second, yeah, if I take, let's suppose, one neuron like this, and this is a presynaptic neuron. Let's suppose this is a serotonergic neuron, meaning it will work using serotonin as its neurotransmitter. Serotonergic, yeah, depending on whatever neurotransmitter is being used, the name of that neuron will change. If it is using serotonin as a neurotransmitter, it will be called a serotonergic neurotransmitter, serotonergic neuron. If it is using adrenaline, adrenergic, acetylcholine, cholinergic. ऐसा change होता है, okay? If dopamine use कर रहा था, dopaminergic neuron. Because there are several types of neurotransmitters. Depending on what neurotransmitter is being used, that type of what you call neuron will be named accordingly. Now let's suppose this is a serotonergic neuron, and you have your presynaptic neuron, and let's suppose this is the postsynaptic terminal, wherein this is neuron number 2, okay, and this is neuron number 1. Now what happens is whenever you get a potential here, here you have vesicles at the end of your axon terminal with neurotransmitters present in them. So let's suppose these are neurotransmitters. Okay? Whenever this vesicle gets stimulated, this fellow will literally come to the surface here, and it will get exocytosed. Okay, so what happens is neurotransmitters come here outside in the synaptic cleft, and they will transmit the message via particular receptors present. So you have serotonin receptors present here. This particular receptor will be called 5-HT3. Now you have several types of serotonin receptors. We'll concentrate only on 5-HT3 receptors for now. Okay? You'll have 5-HT1, 5-HT2, कितने की रहते हैं dopamine के receptors. So this receptor, let's suppose it is 5-HT3, and whenever you have this serotonin coming and attaching here, you will get a response from here. A threshold potential will be generated. Now, depending on the number of neurotransmitters that are coming and attaching here, you will get as many responses, and eventually you will get a strong enough message, right? You're basically trying to transmit the potential. This is what happens. Now, in the last class, I told you in depression, one of the main problems that we see, though we do not know the exact mechanism, what we do see is that the amount of neurotransmitter that is present in a person's synaptic cleft, or number of neurotransmitters as such, will be very low. So your goal will be to keep these neurotransmitters for as long as possible in your synapse. Meaning, what will happen normally is these neurotransmitters, once they have attached to this receptor, they will tend to go back inside. Okay? That is what they do. Once their work is done, they will tend to go back, so that if another potential comes, they can get reactivated. Now once they go inside, what will happen is some of them will be degraded using one particular enzyme called monoamine oxidase, or not, just remember it as MAO, and some of them will be repacked into vesicles so that they can be reused. Okay? Recycling कर सक रहे. So that is what happens. That is the fate of a neurotransmitter. What we are trying to do with antidepressant drugs is trying to keep these neurotransmitters in the synaptic cleft for a longer period of time. If they are here for a longer period of time, you basically do that by inhibiting this process, by inhibiting reuptake. If you inhibit reuptake, those neurotransmitters will stay in your synaptic cleft for a longer period of time, and there is a higher chance that they will re-stimulate these receptors. Meaning, whichever fellow is not going inside, let's suppose we had a neurotransmitter like this which did its function, okay, and this fellow wants to go back, but because यहाँ पर how you stop reuptake is basically there will be a particular receptor here. So whenever I talk about blocking reuptake, there will be a particular receptor here. You're basically blocking this receptor, you're closing the gate. Okay, when you block this receptor, or when you close this gate, okay, one second, we'll use a different color. When you close this gate, your antidepressants will close this gate. So if it is a serotonergic neuron, you will have SCRT receptors. Okay, special type of receptors, SCRT बोलते हैं उसको, serotonin reuptake receptors. उन लोगों को ब्लॉक अगर कर दिए, whenever you block these, that neurotransmitter will not be able to go inside. The door is blocked. So what this fellow will do is this fellow will come back here and it might stimulate another receptor here, another serotonin receptor here, due to which I can get double function out of that same neurotransmitter. All right, that is how I can increase the number of impulses without changing the number of neurotransmitters. In turn, treating depression. All right, or at least managing depression. I hope ये समझ में आया तुम लोगों को. This is only a revision. If you did not understand, please let me know. The same thing will happen with norepinephrine as well. If you take, one second. If you take adrenergic receptor, let's suppose, which is using norepinephrine as its neurotransmitter. Let's suppose यहाँ पर norepinephrine is the neurotransmitter. ठीक है? This fellow will again come out whenever it is stimulated. It will attach to a postsynaptic neuron of the same. One second, I'll use that same color so that it is easy for you to remember. Right. So NO आके इसको attach होते हैं, where you have the receptors here. This fellow comes and attaches here, and you get a response. In this as well, let's suppose you are using norepinephrine as the neurotransmitter, noradrenaline or norepinephrine, whatever you call it. ठीक है? अब यहाँ पर क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं, अगेन यू विल हैव अनदर नॉन एपिनेफ्रिन रिसेप्टर दैट विल बी कॉल्ड NET. इसको NET बोलते हैं. There are some antidepressants which will block this gate, this NET, because of which that neurotransmitter cannot go back. If it cannot go back, this fellow will stay in the synaptic cleft for longer, and basically cause again it will come here and what do you call, stimulate another receptor, causing another response or another potential to be generated. That is how antidepressants work. Most of the antidepressants. समझ में आया क्या हो रहा?
No, sorry.
You did not
Sir.
understand.
Sir, फिर से repeat.
Please repeat. Okay, ठीक है. From which part do you, कहाँ तक समझ में आया? अच्छा, did you understand that we are talking about neurons here?
Yes, sir. Sir, मैं थोड़ा लेट आया ना इसलिए सर समझ में
अच्छा.
beginning
से नहीं हुआ, ठीक है. अब we are talking about antidepressants, how antidepressants work. Okay, depression is a problem in which what is observed clinically is that if you see the person's neuron, the amount of neurotransmitters, now you know they have several types of neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, glutamate, कितने की है, ठीक है? The amount of neurotransmitter that is present in a particular neuron, that will be low. So let's suppose a normal person has around 500 neurotransmitters present in their synaptic cleft. Let's suppose we are talking about serotonergic neuron. Serotonergic neurons will be those neurons which will work using serotonin. ठीक है, उन लोगों को serotonergic बुलाते. अगर adrenaline use कर रहा था adrenergic बोलते. So ये serotonergic neuron में, let's suppose, or in that synapse you have less a number of serotonin receptors, or you have less number of serotonin molecules, sorry, 5-HT3 molecule, 5-HT3 serotonin. Okay, in a normal person they should be 500. Let's suppose you have a patient of depression and you find out that in them there are only 200 neurotransmitters in a single synapse. So what can you do? यहाँ पर अब ये 500 neurotransmitters जो थे, these 500 neurotransmitters, what they were essentially doing was, whenever a stimulus came like this, ठीक है, this stimulus basically stimulated the vesicle that is present at the end of your neuron, axon terminal pe, the vesicle was stimulated. That vesicle which contained serotonin, the neurotransmitter, gets exocytosed, comes into your synaptic cleft, I'm just abbreviating it as SC, and it will stimulate the receptor that is present on the postsynaptic neuron, okay, on the next neuron, neuron 2. Whenever this fellow is stimulating, you get a threshold potential, and that is how, if you have enough number of threshold potentials, you will get an action potential. यहाँ तक समझ में आया क्या हो रहा? This is normally how neurotransmission occurs. समझ में आया? I didn't get you.
Yes, sir. समझ में
आया? Okay. Anyone else as well? If you still have a doubt, please let me know. See, this is how normally it works. Now, in a person who has depression, let's suppose I told you they have less number of neurotransmitters. So instead of 500, let's suppose there are only 200 neurotransmitters. इतना ही है. तो क्या होता? neurotransmitter आता, अपना काम करता है, it will stimulate. Even in a normal person, this neurotransmitter comes, it will stimulate the receptor and it will go back. Okay, it will go back using a very special gate. That gate is the receptor. Okay, through that receptor, the neurotransmitter can be reabsorbed inside into the presynaptic neuron. That process is called reuptake. Okay, this process is called reuptake. It is taking back the neuron. एक बार काम हो गया, so that it can be used again or it can be converted into something else. Your neurotransmitter goes back into its original neuron wherever it came from. Now, some of the neurotransmitters, what will happen is they will be degraded by one particular enzyme called MAO, monoamine oxidase, and some of them will be packed into different vesicles so that they might be reused. ठीक है, थोड़ों को मैं neurotransmitter वापस आया समझो. Some of them will be packed inside back again. Some of them will be degraded using MAO. Okay. Now, यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है? From one neurotransmitter I am getting one threshold potential, right? एक न्यूरॉन से दूसरे न्यूरॉन को one neurotransmitter is sending one signal, correct? यहाँ तक it is a pretty much linear situation here. So from 500 neurotransmitters, let's suppose I am getting 500 threshold potentials. All right, straightforward till here. Now, in a person with depression, what will happen is instead of 500 neurons, 500 neurotransmitters, let's suppose there are only 200 neurotransmitters. अब 200 है बोले तो खाली 200 responses ही आएगा ना. This is very low. You need to increase the number of responses. So what I can do is, one easy way of increasing the number of responses is I stop this process of reuptake. ये जो लेफ्ट में आपको दिख रहा reuptake का process where neurotransmitter is taken back, I will simply stop that process. If I close this gate that you are seeing, if I close this gate in green, okay, the one that I circled in green, if I close that gate, neurotransmitter will have no other place to go. It will stay in your synaptic cleft for a longer period of time. If it is staying in your synaptic cleft for a longer period of time, it will inevitably come across another receptor, no? It will come in contact with another receptor. If it is attaching to another receptor here, a new threshold is formed. So let's suppose each neurotransmitter, let's suppose one serotonin neurotransmitter is stimulating the postsynaptic neuron twice, 2 times instead of 1 time. तो एक बार stimulate करा था, normally it should have gone back. Because of antidepressant that you gave, it is not able to go back and it is coming here and stimulating again. So you are getting double response. So now instead of getting 200 responses from 200 neurotransmitters, you will get 400 responses. Better than 200, no? You will come closer to normal. समझ में आया अभी क्या हो रहा?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please feel free to ask doubts. You can put it in the chat as well. Okay. So this is how mainly most neurotransmitters will work. There is one particular class of antidepressant that will be called MAO inhibitors, MAO inhibitors, monoamine oxidase inhibitors. I'll explain that when we come. But that is the second way through which you can have an antidepressant working. You will basically stop the breakdown of that neurotransmitter. If this neurotransmitter is not breaking down, you will have more neurotransmitter to be used. Okay. As I told you, once it goes back inside, it can either be repacked inside or it can be degraded. What you're doing is you're stopping this degradation. Okay, the degradation happens due to MAO. Okay. Now, coming to the classification of antidepressants, for you in your portion, you have 4 different classes. So, classification of neurotransmitters. Sorry, classification of antidepressants, neurotransmitters. Right. Classification of antidepressants may you have 4 main classes. First one is tricyclic antidepressants. Tricyclic इन लोगों को इसलिए बोलते हैं because their structure has 3 different cyclic molecules. Okay, that is why they are called tricyclic. What they generally do is, or the mechanism of action of tricyclic antidepressants is that they will block the reuptake of both noradrenaline and serotonin. See, in general, depression का exact mechanism नहीं मालूम, but what we do know is that there is a problem in norepinephrine, serotonin and dopamine levels. Generally what you find is either either one of the three or all the three or some combination, 2 out of 3, the levels of those neurotransmitters will be low. Whenever those are low, the person will generally have depression. Their mood will not be stable and they'll have depression. So in such patients, what I can do is I can increase the neurotransmitter level. One way of doing that is through tricyclic antidepressants. They will stop or they will block the reuptake of amines. Those amines include noradrenaline and serotonin into your presynaptic terminal. If they are blocking reuptake, it will prolong the action of your receptor by increasing the number of or increasing the activity of that same neurotransmitter that is present in your synaptic cleft. Okay. Now, your examples for tricyclic antidepressants include imipramine, desipramine, clopramine, clomipramine, clomipramine, amitriptyline, 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 and doxepin. Now you have more of them. These many are enough. You will have several other types as well. These are the main tricyclic antidepressants that are used nowadays. Now coming to the effects of these drugs, what effect they will have. So whenever you have you're giving TCA, let's suppose you give imipramine on CNS, what it will do is, let's suppose you give it in a normal person. Now obviously you would only give antidepressant to a depressed person, but let's suppose you give it to a normal person. The person will have dizziness, the person will have drowsiness, they will have confusion, and it will be harder for them to think. It will cause difficulty in thinking. Whereas if you give it in a depressed patient, you will have mood elevation. Okay, their mood will elevate. Generally it will take some time. Antidepressants takes weeks. Generally antipsychotics, antidepressants, they take a long time to show their effects, sometimes weeks, sometimes months. Okay. In some patients you will see the effects of the drug that you're giving after 6 months of giving it, after 6 months of taking it regularly. After that you see that the effect. Okay, so you need to be very patient with these drugs, psychotic drugs as such. Now in a depressed patient, TCS will cause mood elevation. We'll just write the effects. It will cause mood elevation. It can what do you call, normalize sleep pattern. So if you know depression, you will know that depression may, the person might sleep more or they might sleep less. Both of them can happen. What this tricyclic antidepressant will do is it will stabilize that sleep pattern. They'll be able to sleep normally. They will neither have insomnia nor hypersomnia, which is a common complaint with depressants in depressive patients. Other than this, this fellow can also cause postural hypertension. Postural hypertension is a type of hypertension when it is also called orthostatic type. Whenever a person changes their position, let's suppose they are lying down and they get up, or when they are standing up and they sit down, whenever they change their posture, it will cause hypertension. Sometimes it will be to such an extent that the person might faint. Okay, so tricyclic depressants can cause postural hypertension as well as tachycardia. Okay. This is specifically because tricyclic antidepressants will also block muscarinic and alpha adrenergic receptors. If you remember, adrenergic receptors have 5 types. I told you long ago: alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. This fellow will specifically block alpha 1. See, whenever we are giving antidepressants, it is not like we can select which type of function it will do, right? It will hinder or it will inhibit some of the normal functions as well. Whenever we are trying to block the reuptake of certain receptors, it will no doubt have some effect on depressive functions, in the sense that if the person was having uh, less number of neurotransmitters to in that particular neuron which was causing depression, that receptor will no doubt get blocked and it will cause normal mood elevation. But other places where that same receptor is present, those will also get affected. Now let's suppose I have that same SCRT receptor. Generally serotonin receptor जो है, it is present in your brain, it is present in your gut, it is also present in your heart. So if you are giving something like tricyclic antidepressant, all of these areas will get affected. That is why you cannot avoid side effects as such. All of them are getting affected. You cannot exactly select, "Oh, I only want to affect the receptors in my brain." It is not exactly possible. It will affect all the receptors that are present around your body. That is why even in asthma, when we give, if you remember, we were using beta agonists, right? Now, beta agonists in asthma is fine, especially beta 2 agonists, which are in lung. But if I don't have selective beta agonist, it will act on the smooth muscles present in your GIT, and it will also act on your heart. So that is why non-selective beta agonist should not be given in patients with cardiovascular problem. It will also cause arrhythmias and all of that. So you cannot trade one for the other, especially until and unless you have selective drugs. If it is selecting one particular receptor, अब समझो brain में है receptor, and it is also present in your heart. If I can only affect the receptor present in the brain, that is well and good. But if you do not have a selective receptor and you have to give the drug, then you should be prepared for the adverse effect. These are some of the side effects that will occur. Okay, it will cause postural hypertension, it will cause tachycardia, specifically because it is blocking your muscarinic receptor and your adrenergic receptor, especially in overdosage. Tricyclic antidepressants in overdosage will cause tachycardia and postural hypertension. And coming to your ANS effects, or autonomic nervous system, it will cause anticholinergic effects, in the sense that anticholinergic effects, meaning the person will have dry mouth, they will have blurred vision. If you remember, acetylcholine will cause dilation of your pupils. If you have anticholinergic effects, the person will not be able to see properly. Constipation and urinary retention. It will basically do everything that is opposite to your acetylcholine. It will block every place where acetylcholine is working, because of which these symptoms are seen. So these are generally the most common effects that you see. Other than this, tricyclic antidepressants can also cause sedation in some patients, because it will inhibit or it will block your histamine receptors as well. It can cause histamine blockade and lead to sedation in some patients. Now, in some patients, it can also cause convulsions, especially in epileptics. It can trigger convulsions, it can cause hallucinations, and it can increase the appetite of the patient. So, those are some other side effects. It can increase appetite, which will lead to weight gain. It will cause hallucinations, and it will cause convulsions, especially in epileptics, meaning those who have epilepsy. Okay. So these are some other side effects of your tricyclic antidepressants. Now coming to the next class of your antidepressants, you have SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Okay, these are slightly selective. These are better than TCS. They will act the same way. They will specifically block the reuptake of serotonin essentially. Now यहाँ पर advantage क्या है? This fellow will have low cardiovascular effects. Almost no cardiovascular side effects are seen. You will have negligible anticholinergic effects. So they are very well used in elderly patients. ठीक है? Because normally itself elderly patients के अंदर you will see constipation and urinary retention. If you give something like tricyclic antidepressants, it will be a big problem. So if you have a depressed old person, if you have an elderly person who has depression, in them SSRIs are much better choice than tricyclic antidepressants. Please feel free to stop me at any time if you're not understanding or if you want me to repeat any particular part. Okay. Now, as I was telling you, these have negligible anticholinergic effects. So just write them down. Advantages over TCS. It is kind of a trade-off. Some there will be some advantages, there will be some disadvantages as well. low CVS side effects. So no tachycardia and postural hypertension. It will have negligible anticholinergic effects. Preferred in elderly. Because this fellow will not cause constipation, neither will it cause urinary retention or water retention. Okay. Okay. Other than that, it is safe in overdosage. Okay. Even if you give it, even if you give a higher dose of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, there's also called SSRIs. It will not cause a big problem. Okay. SSRIs बोलते हैं लोगों को. Now, coming to specific adverse effects of these drugs, they can cause nausea, they can cause vomiting, diarrhea. I'm just abbreviating as NVD. It can cause sexual dysfunction. Specifically, it will cause erectile dysfunction. Other than that, it can cause ecchymosis. Ecchymosis is a condition in which there is internal bleeding and your skin will become reddish. So if you have ever seen a person who has got hit with something very severely, let's suppose it is let's suppose someone gets hit on the back, okay, very severely using some rod or something, okay, they will have a small patch wherein, let's suppose, a blood vessel burst or something like that. They will have internal bleeding and that area of the skin will become literally reddish. Okay, if surface case blood vessels have burst, that area under your skin will become reddish. That is called ecchymosis. Okay, that is generally seen with SSRIs. It can also cause insomnia and irritability, especially if there is excessive dosage given. That is when it can cause insomnia and irritability in some patients. All right, so this is about SSRIs. Then you have another class. I hope यहाँ तक समझ में आ रहा. ये इतना डिप्रेस्ड आवाज में समझ में नहीं आ रहा तो बोलो ना, मैं फिर से समझाता हूँ.
Yes, sir, समझ में आया.
Okay, third class is MAO inhibitors or monoamine oxidase inhibitors. इन लोगों को MAOIs बोलते हैं. Now, monoamine oxidase is a very special kind of enzyme that is present inside your neurons. Especially, it will be present in the neuroterminal. ठीक है, जो axon terminal है वहां पर present रहता ये enzyme. So if I see your axon terminal like this and this is your postsynaptic neuron, यहाँ पर present रहता आपका MAO. MAO का काम क्या है? Monoamine oxidase. Yeah, Sanjay, do you have a doubt? You raised your hand. Okay, must be a mistake. So monoamine oxidase का काम क्या है? As I told you, these neurotransmitters, let's suppose this is a neurotransmitter, this fellow, once it goes back inside, so if I enlarge this picture a little bit, what will happen is once this neurotransmitter is coming in, it will undergo two things. Yeah, one thing is it will get repacked into another vesicle. So it will be packaged into another vesicle where this fellow can be reused again. So let's suppose around 100 neurotransmitters are coming back inside. Around 60-70 neurotransmitters, or let's suppose 60 neurotransmitters are being repackaged so that they can be used again. The rest 40, they will be subjected to MAO, monoamine oxidase. MAO will break this neurotransmitter down into different various products. I'm just abbreviating 1, 2, 3, 4 different products you get from it, which will be responsible for metabolism of different things. Okay, they will have a different role. यहाँ पर essentially क्या कर रहे हैं आप? न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर को break down कर रहे हैं. You're breaking the neurotransmitter down into different products. Essentially, you're losing the neurotransmitter. At least these fellows can be reused again. These fellows cannot be reused. Okay? So what you can do with MAOIs is, if you block MAOI, there is no degradation of these neurotransmitters, meaning those 40 neurotransmitters that are lost can be repackaged again. Okay, they also can be repackaged into another vesicle and they can be reused again. That is the function of MAOIs. I hope you understood the part here. Monoamine oxidase is an enzyme that is present in your neuron, especially around your neuron terminal. Its function is to break down some of the neurotransmitters to get some other products, some other metabolites, which will have some other functions. Okay. यहाँ पर we already have a condition where the number of neurotransmitters present is low. Especially in a depressed patient, the number of neurotransmitters is low. You would ideally not want to break down any neurotransmitters. ठीक है, पहले ही कम है. Why would you want to break it down even further? That is why what you can do is, if you block this enzyme, these 40 neurotransmitters which were being broken down, those can also be saved and they will be reused. They will be packed into vesicles and they can be reused. समझ में आया what is the mechanism of action? Did every one of you understand what was the mechanism of action? If you want me to repeat, I'll repeat it.
Working of MAO.
You want me to repeat the working of MAO?
After working.
Acha. Okay. Let's suppose there is one neuron like this. Okay? End of a neuron. यहाँ पर there is your vesicle which contains neurotransmitters. Okay? Whenever I have an action potential coming my way, this fellow will get stimulated and this fellow will go out exocytosed, and these neurotransmitters are present here and they will excite the next neuron. Okay? Once their function is done, reuptake occurs, and let's suppose around 100 neurotransmitters are being taken back inside. Out of 100 neurotransmitters, what will happen is your body or that neuron will recycle some of them. So let's suppose it is recycling 60 neurons or 60 neurotransmitters. 60 neurotransmitters are being repackaged inside so that they can be reused. The remaining 40 जो है, they will be broken down by a particular enzyme called MAO, monoamine oxidase. These what do you call, neurotransmitters are amines. They are monoamines. They can be oxidized. When they are oxidized, they will be broken down. That is why this enzyme is called monoamine oxidase. Okay? This enzyme, whenever it acts on that neurotransmitter, it will break that neurotransmitter into different products. So let's suppose I'm getting 1, 2, 3 products out of that neurotransmitter. यहाँ पर in a normal person that is fine, but if it is happening in a depressed person, that is a problem, because in a depressed person, I already told you, the number of neurotransmitters that are present is already low. Why would you want to break down more neurotransmitters? In that case, what you can do is, if you can block this enzyme altogether, you will be able to save these 40, right? These 40 neurotransmitters can be used as well, so that you do not have the breakdown of any neurotransmitter and all of them can be reused. समझ में आया? That is how monoamine oxidase inhibitors work. They will basically inhibit the enzyme that is breaking down neurotransmitter. If you stop the breakdown of the neurotransmitter, it can be reused. I hope that clears your doubt.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll get into the details of monoamine oxidase tomorrow. You have two different types of monoamine oxidase enzymes itself, A and B, and depending on that, you'll have different types of drugs.